The XboxEra podcast is powered by you, and if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon. Just head to patreon.com/XboxEra. And as a thank you for your support, you get cool stuff and we get to keep doing what we do. Now let's get into it. Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 98 of the XboxEra podcast. I'm your host, Sik and Mechanico, and I'm joined, as always, by Special Nick.
What's going on?
And we have a special guest today, Albert Dankwa from Microsoft. He is the content program manager at Xbox and social lead. Welcome, Albert. How are you doing?
Oh, wow. Thank you. Definitely great to be here and on the 98th episode. So
I know, so close to 100.
I know.
You're a special guest.
Yeah, so close.
You're not, we've got other, it's all
not
very
that special.
Times. Well, you're very special. Every guest is special.
Yeah, everyone's special.
But it's really cool to have you here.
Thanks for making the time, mate.
Of course.
And as always, we've got Jesse, who is in the background, pushing the levers, pressing the buttons.
Who's in the background, fixing the background because somebody hit my controller. There we go. Now we got the right background. Hello.
It's all right. Audio listeners, they won't notice anything, right? Speaking of which, while I'm on the subject of audio listeners, we know that over maybe a few episodes, the audio levels were doing a bit of this. Apparently, I was a bit quiet, then I was a bit loud, and vice versa. We've done some things now to even that out. So if you're listening to this on Spotify during your week, do give us a shout. Let us know if you find it now to be nice and even and you're not having to change volumes on the fly or strain to hear one of us. But hey, look, it's a new week. There's lots of huge video games out. So before we get into everything else, has anyone been playing anything new? Now, I'm sorry to disappoint people because I know we've got, this podcast is referencing Elden Ring, but the two main hosts of the podcast don't care about From Software games whatsoever. So it's like, you've been playing anything, Nick?
Me? I don't think I've been playing anything new. I know Jesse's been playing the crap out of Elden Ring, and I'm pretty sure Albert's been playing Elden Ring, no?
Yes, I have.
All right, do you guys, if we just stay quiet for a second, do you guys want to just wax lyrical, you and Jesse, about Elden Ring, just for a minute? I mean, is it good? Are you enjoying it? Is it everything you came to expect from Software?
It's very punishing. Very, very punishing. Yeah, I'm learning to be okay with getting destroyed and exploring.
Is it one of your first From games though?
It is. I've played like Souls in passing, but never sat down and played one in its entirety. So this is the first time that I'm sitting down and playing in its entirety, which also means that it's going to be a little more rough than the average person is used to who plays those type of games. So here I am.
This is very much an evolution, and it is the most accessible, but it's not easy. It's just there's a real difference with it because in previous Souls games it was far more linear, and when you're going somewhere and it's really hard, you just have to figure out how to do it. Or just grind the enemies before to level up. In this one, I'm hitting this brick wall here. I can just turn that way and go that way and find something else I can do. And that's one of the biggest differences for frustration. I have noticed some people just do keep trying because they want to beat it. But you run into areas constantly that are a very high level. Right off the bat, there's a guy right out front when you start the game. You get through the tutorial, and the first mob you see is for when you're level 30. And you're level 1. So, but they love doing that. But yes,
that reminds me of Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed Origins, you have a level, but on your way to a certain mission, you may encounter someone who's a much higher level, and you can either be a dummy and try and take it on, or just go around it and try and level up or get a better weapon or something like that. It sounds very similar.
And that was their most Dark Souls Assassin's Creed game. It had very similar combat with the focus on the shield, which has never ever again really been a thing in Assassin's Creed, but it had that lock on sword and board focus because it was their most Souls-like.
Yeah.
Okay. See,
I mean, I'm normally susceptible to a good hype train for video games, and when you see best game of the generation and 10s out of 10s across the board and everyone waxing lyrical about how amazing it is, there's a little bit of me that's tempted. And if someone said, here's a copy of Elden Ring, I would install it and definitely give it a go. But I know enough of myself by now to know that if I spent money on this, I'd play it. I'd play it for 2 hours and be like, nah, too big, too difficult, don't have time.
Yeah.
And I'd walk away. So it's not disparaging anyone that absolutely loves the challenge and enjoys their worlds, but it is. I know in my heart it is just not a game for me.
Yeah, I'm sort of the same. I think the only Souls game I tried to get into was literally Demon Souls.
Yeah,
and that
because it was a launch title for PS5.
No.
The original Demon Souls
3, like the original Demon Souls on PlayStation 3, because they gave it away on PlayStation Plus. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll give this a go. And I was just like, nope, I'm not enjoying this at all. Because I didn't play any of From's Xbox games. I didn't play Otogi. I didn't play Ninja Blade. I didn't play, what was the other one? Chrome Hounds? Was it Chrome Hounds?
Chrome Hounds.
I didn't play any of those games. So the first From game I ever tried was Demon Souls. And I was just like, I don't find this enjoyable. And then that was it for me. I was done. Because apparently almost every game since then has been in that vein.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know. It's not for me, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think, I play games to have fun. And Albert used the word, it's very punishing. That was the first words out of his mouth. And I'm like, some people, that is absolutely fun. Overcoming the challenge, being tested. Is that fun to me?
It is, in a weird way. I can't speak for anyone but myself. But what should be frustrating is just it's almost as if the game is egging me on. and I really want to make progress. I want to get better.
Is it Morpheus in the dojo doing the whole, come on have a fight?
Yeah, and
get back up.
It's the way that some of the characters in there talk to you. They really let you know that they're going to give it to you. And I'm not one to take that. I'm from New York. I'm not one to take that type of talk. So
I'm taking that line down.
I mean, obviously they were right because they handled me quite well. But I will be back, and I will. I will see. We'll see one day. Not yet, but
look, I've entered a couple of competitions to try and win a copy. So if I win one, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I mean,
unless Jesse can get us another copy. Can we get another copy for review or something?
I could ask, but they might be like, "Why? what are they going to get?" Yeah, extra copies generally are. Oh, we want to stream it with this or do a giveaway. So I'll see.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, look. Before we dive into the meat and potatoes proper of today's show, Albert, you've had a journey right through. And I think you and I have spoken before, and I know you've caught up with Nick before you've come onto the show. You've always wanted to work for Xbox, right? I think that's right. since you kind of encountered them and started your transition across. But what's it been? Give the folks watching, the kind of journey and how you got from A to where you are now, in a nutshell, if you can wrap it up.
Yeah, sure. Let me give the abridged version as best I can. Wow. It took me 5 years to get to Microsoft, and then 5 years to get to Xbox once in Microsoft. So I would say overall, if you look at the scale, it's about a 10-year journey. I don't know, maybe kind of Souls-like right there. Yeah, maybe that's why I'm drawn to Elden Ring a little bit. But I decided to take a chance and walk away from a potential career in media communications when I got an opportunity to do a temporary gig for the Xbox One launch. Wow. And in that temporary gig, I was just pretty much going to third-party partner stores such as like Best Buys and Walmarts and GameStops, and I would educate the employees on the Xbox and really help throughout the launch window. And once that was over, I just thought to myself, hey, it was temporary, but I think I can pursue this. I think I can achieve this. And I just waited and I got my opportunity, and I applied for the Microsoft store over in Fifth Ave in New York City. And I got the job, and that's where I began. And working there was not like any other place I've ever been.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's like, okay, a store is a store, but it was big. Grand opening was insane.
So is this retail? So this is the big, because we used to have like one in the UK, and I know that they've shut a lot of them now, or at least in abroad in the US.
Yeah. There's still one sort of in the UK. So down in London, in Oxford Circus, there's the Microsoft Experience Center now, but there's some remnants of the stores. But it was a physical retail store, and it was a really big deal.
Wow.
It was so big because it was our first flagship store. We had Satya was there, so we had our CEO there on the first day. Panos was there. We had a lot of individuals. Pitbull performed, and in my head, I'm standing here just looking, thinking to myself, all this for a store opening? This is insane. But that's how much it was important to Microsoft. And seeing all of that, I knew, hey, this is going to be it. This is going to be the opportunity I have to make it there. So
that's crazy that you had a career, you were doing it, and you were like, do I want to go do this? I'm going to take the risk and actually give up the I presume permanent employment and try my luck at a temporary role in the hopes that it'll grow to something. Am I understanding that right? So you've kind of just been like, please work out for me, life, and it seemingly has now, right?
Yeah. Lots of years of patience and persistence and being consistent definitely paid off, and I'm so grateful for that.
So what do you do now? Like it obviously your Twitter profile, and you can find Albert, and I'm hoping I pronounce this one right, at ALKALLUS, which is ALKALLUS.
Correct.
Am I getting cool? I'm getting all the sounds right today. But it says content program manager and social lead. So what does that? Are you the guy behind like the Microsoft account tweeting jokes, or
I'm not
one of those
guys?
I'm
there are a lot of different Microsoft accounts on Twitter. The account that I oversee is Xbox support.
Oh, okay.
And so if we see, not the Xbox static stuff. So not anything that's reactive. So if there's like an issue, something like that, but anything that's proactive, anything that's educational, here's how you do this, here's how you do that. This is a new feature that you want to check out. I've written the tweet for that. So that's between me and my team, and we go out and we do that, and we produce Xbox support videos in that vein. So that's currently what I do. I write the script for the videos, because just like any movie, TV show, commercial, everything has a script. So I sit down, I take what we have, what we want to focus on. We try to listen and really look at customer sentiment, customer feedback. What are we hoping to learn from, or what are we hoping to see more about? And I'll take that and I'll turn it into a script. And then we have some freelancers who get it into our production. And then I put on my video production hat, and I'm some sorts of executive producer a little bit, and just signing off on the process until it's good to go. And then once it's good to go, and the video will hit the masses by way of Twitter and the Xbox support YouTube.
Wow. So do you find that you have to interact, just by nature of that, or at least keep tabs on? And do you see kind of like yourself scanning through maybe in a very general way, but a lot of the Xbox community? Because there's a lot of really great, pillars of the community, I would say, out there from YouTubers and other content creators, as well as just consumers. Do you kind of keep tabs on all of that as well?
Yeah.
Like when you're thinking about all of this and, trying to put things out that maybe people are, they bought a new game and they didn't know that it had family settings or something like that. And you try and educate and base things off of that. Is it kind of reactive in some ways to those kind of elements? Or is it very much like we've got a scheduled plan and we're going to hit these notes and get this info out there for these folks?
It's a mix of both.
Fair enough.
Here are things that we may see and say, hey, this is super important. This is coming up. We should, based on what our fans and gamers are saying, this is something that we want to take a look at and possibly educate some more on it or dive in a little bit into some extra detail. But then in the same breath, it's, hey, this is coming out. This is new. Then Xbox, like marketing or whoever, may tap me and say, hey, can you give us some support here? And I'll go, of course. So recently we just had the live streaming Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
Integration back on console. And the fun part for me was that I got to go ahead and create a support tweet and really get people excited and just take a look and see what the sentiment is. And yeah, generally I try to look everywhere as I can. So I try to look at what popular creators are saying, what people are saying on the tweets themselves. I take a look at Xbox ambassadors, Xbox Reddit, the general Xbox account all up. So that's where I try to take a look and see everywhere. Well, at least everywhere that I can, my team and I.
Yeah. I bet smart deliveries made your lives a little bit easier over the course of this gen so far. Like I haven't seen any, here's how to upgrade your video game from this version to this version for the Xbox platform, at least. So I'm sure that's probably made life a little bit more simple. But no, that's super interesting. Go on, Nick.
I was going to say, we've actually got a few questions for Albert from the community.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, we, as part of being a patron with XboxEra, you get to ask community questions that we read out on the podcast, where, because our shows have tended to run a little bit long, we found that asking the questions throughout the show has sort of helped speed things up a little bit. And I was reading through the questions and there's a few for you in there. So I thought, while we're going through everything about you, I figure I may as well ask some of the questions that other people are wondering about. So we've got, now you'll have to apologize because I'll have to apologize because obviously my internet decided to drop out for the first time ever in the middle of the show. So I am now running off my phone at the moment.
Wow.
I'm not running off my internet, I'm running off my phone. So if I missed something and this question has been answered, I apologize. But Commander Buck, hello everybody. Congrats, Albert. I read some of your story on Twitter and my question for you is, what steps did you take to keep growing and evolving at Microsoft?
Ooh, perfect.
That's
I love that question. Thank you for asking that question. And the answer to that would be adding on to what I was saying before when I first came to Microsoft through physical retail. Being in that flagship store meant that we got a lot of visibility. We had a lot of big names come through there, and I was one to never shy away from any opportunity. That being said, we had our very first midnight launch was Tom Clancy's Division, and that just had to be big. It had to be big. Yeah. And we went out of our way to ensure that we had catering, we had cosplay, we had developers from Ubisoft there, and the icing on the cake was to get Major Nelson to come through and be the host of the night. And for context, that the store, well, now the Microsoft Experience Center, is 7 floors. So very big. And we had a in-store community team that was in charge of just overseeing things in terms of events. And they had asked me to come along with them on the walk so that I can answer any Xbox questions, because I was very much into Xbox, obviously. And a whole bunch of people came through the door for the walk, and Larry was the last one. So I go, wow, that's Major Nelson, but focused. So we go on the walk. I answer all game-related questions. And at the end, Major Nelson goes, hey, I don't know. And the team goes, whatever you need, Larry. Like, what do you need? Please, we need you to do this. And he goes, I need this guy to be my chaperone. And I'm looking to is he talking to me? And Major Nelson's talking to me. And they go, sure, Albert, take him. So I end up pretty much being his right-hand man for the event, which was amazing because it was awesome. So that's giveaways, streams, his schedule, all that cool jazz. And I got to speak to him for about 10, 15 minutes in between a break. And I told him everything I wanted to do. I said, hey, Larry, I want to go to Team Xbox. I want to stay in New York. I want to do all these great things. And he gave me a lot of advice. And the piece that really stuck with me the most was he told me to be consistent, be persistent, be patient, but above all, you have to be prepared. Take something, make something, so that whenever the time comes, you have something to show. And I went home that night. Yeah, exactly. And I went home that night, and I wanted to really think about it, and I didn't know. And I had my laptop open, and I was looking at Sway. For those who aren't familiar with the app, it's pretty much like I call it PowerPoint's cool cousin. It's a way for you to make newsletters and like magazines and stuff like that. And so it's a web-based office app. And I've always read the Xbox Wire. So what I did was I created my own internal digital magazine, and I called it The Nickel because it was my 5 cents in gaming, and our store was on Fifth Avenue. And I modeled it inspired by the Xbox Wire. Anytime we had what's new on Xbox, I wrote it. I did unboxings. Of course, I couldn't afford it, so all of the products. So I would stay late for shipments, come in early for shipments, because we had stuff that would be on display models. So I would work with the inventory team, unbox it, shoot it, and then put it into the magazine, embedded it using OneDrive. And I used all my vacation time. I went to every event, PAX, Comic-Con, E3, and I just chased down content. And people looked at me like I was crazy, saying, you're on vacation. Why are you gonna, are you working? And I would go, no, I'm investing in myself, investing in my future. Eventually, I won't go on and on because I know we got a show here, but eventually what happened was that my magazine, my work eventually saw went up to people the likes of Aaron, of a Phil, and that put me on the radar. And I kept working on it day in, day out for like years to come. And eventually, when I got my opportunity, like Major Nelson said, when I got in the room and I got to show what I built over the years, that showed Xbox, hey, this guy can do something with content. Wow. And it ultimately led to my job.
That's pretty incredible. And kudos for the persistence part, because I'm terribly lazy as a human being, and terribly inconsistent half the time too. So, I sit there and I think of like giving up my holiday to go and pursue the dream. And it's, it sounds like something I would do, but if I actually sat down and thought about it, it sounds like I'd probably go lay down somewhere or play more video games. So I have to, doff my cap to you, because that's one hell of a journey to get to where you are now. I'm going to do this, and then 5 years later do it. The only guy I know in my life that had at a very young age said, I want to be this, was when I was 11 years old and we were leaving primary school, and my friend said, I want to be a marine biologist. Now, what 11-year-old out there wants to be a marine biologist? I don't know.
Never heard of that.
But he is one now. He went to MIT. He's at MIT still now. He's been out on the Arctic Circle, on the boats doing marine biology. And I'm like, fair play to the guy. That is some persistence. And it kind of reminds me of that story. So, massive kudos to you, Albert.
Thank you.
There is one other question.
Oh,
there is one other one. From good old Collingwood. Happy Black History Month, John, Nick, Jesse, and welcome, best dressed at Xbox Albert. I hope you get to see Phil Spencer's acceptance speech at DICE Awards for the Lifetime Achievement Award. It was a great speech, empowering everyone to do their best in gaming industry and praising the opportunities for the people coming after him. Albert, working at Xbox, what are you seeing as you log into work every day? Do you feel that Phil Spencer's words aren't just hot air but good motivation? What would you say to an employee of Activision Blizzard King pondering their future under Microsoft?
That's a good question.
I would say that the culture here is amazing. What our leaders say at Microsoft is above and beyond amazing. And, Phil is Phil. I won't take anything away from Phil. We all know how amazing he is, but the true heroes are the women. I cannot tell you every key person that has helped me in my journey in this company has been a woman. We are diverse. We are agile. We are adaptable. It's just really a great bunch. And then just speaking back to Phil, I think at the time, because now he's a CEO of Microsoft Gaming. Crazy, go Phil. At the time, he was EVP of gaming. And when he and I first met, I was a part-time store associate at the store. So that gap, the only thing higher than where he was at EVP would be a C-level. So this is pretty much like the biggest gap possible between our roles. And he has always treated me like somebody on Team Xbox. From the first time we met to, even now that I'm actually on Xbox, it's never been anything different. It's always been with grace. It's always been with respect. He's always had great, insightful conversations with me. And I'm thankful for that. So somebody pondering and thinking about that, the only thing I have to say is welcome, because it's really phenomenal being here, and take that from somebody who is in a few months going to be celebrating their 7 years at the company.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
Wow,
what a journey. That's bonkers. We've got a couple of...
It's funny.
Go on, Nick.
Oh, is there Superchats? Is there?
Oh, yes, my friend. A couple came in while you were...
I was disconnected, so I didn't see anything.
We've got one from Faisal who says, welcome, Albert, and have a great show, everyone. And then we've got Mr. Joanna Dark, who I think you'll know, Albert. He says, hello, gentlemen, and also a shout out to my friend.
Who's that guy?
Albert. Lighting is not the GOAT. Winky face. Is that an in-joke I'm thinking?
Yeah, lighting is not the GOAT.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Lightning Final Fantasy. I know. I know a lot of people.
That's a typo. He said it's got lighting here, and I'm like, lighting? Why lighting?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Lightning.
Yeah, he does that on purpose. But it's okay.
I love the bants.
It's funny. Speaking of Phil's obviously got a very famous shelf that everyone loves to pick apart and look at under a microscope. I have to say, of all the backgrounds I've seen in podcasts and gaming, I've already got Albert's as number one, because I'm seeing Titanfall in the background, and Titanfall is the greatest. So your shelf / background instantly goes to number one for me, because Titanfall is the best. Absolutely love it.
Absolutely love that game. I put countless hours in Titanfall. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it to pieces.
It's so good. It's
a
funny,
shame
like
it's
you
been
can't see
retired.
it in my background, and I don't know if this is going to work, but like back when Titanfall came out, I don't even know. I've got friends in retail and stuff, and I got that poster up there, that reflective poster thing. You can't even really see it that well, but oh man, Titanfall was just...
You're a big fan.
Oh boy.
Big fan.
There's the thing. Did you get to Gen 10 before they nerfed the Gooser challenge?
Of course I did.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. I did it the hard way.
Wow.
That was full on.
Yeah, it was killing 100 pilots when they had ejected from their Titan and they were in midair.
With the
It was
lightning gun thing.
Yeah. Any way you could, if you could kill them while they were up in the air after an ejection. Boy,
Sorry. The lightning gun one was a separate achievement, wasn't it? There was a lightning gun achievement as well. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they had some rough ones.
What I don't have is Gen 100 and Titanfall 2. I don't have that. I mean, really? Even though it's not an achievement, I believe it was just added on, just expanded to like Gen 100. But there are some folks out there that are Gen 100, and man, it's like the beginning of Elden Ring, you know, like a Souls game when you walk out and you have have those high level people. So that's what it's like when you face some of those Gen 100 folks.
Actually, that's a question I want to ask now that you mentioned Titanfall 2. Which multiplayer did you prefer? Titanfall 1 or 2?
So
you got to give the right answer, Albert. Yep. You got to give the right answer.
Don't ignore him trying to press you, Albert. You pick what you want, yeah. You just
the original Titanfall. The movement was better in the original. However, Titanfall 2 was just more polished. You know, it's to me almost when you look at the first Gears and then you get to Gears 2 and Gears 3, obviously there's so much more improvements, but there's like a certain rawness that you had to the first Gears that you can't get back. And it's the same thing. Like obviously the improvements in Titanfall 2 much needed and way better. But there's just a certain essence in the first Titanfall that you can't get back to it. That being said, for meta purposes, I'm gonna go with Titanfall 2. You have different Titan classes. And it's the right answer. You have to. Right
he's not happy, Albert. He's not happy.
I know he's not. I know he's not happy, but I just trust me. It's difficult, but I have to go with Titanfall 2.
I'm happy.
It's just more polished.
No. Titanfall 1 is the greatest multiplayer shooter of all time. It's the best.
Wow.
It is amazing.
That's a stretch. But hey, look, so we're all here. It's been an interesting week. Just before we move off of the Elden Ring topic, and I kind of wanted to just mention the parallels, but poor isn't the right word, but I can't, what's the phrase? I can't believe the same shit's happened to the same guy twice with Horizon Forbidden West, you know?
Oh, yeah.
They came out, and then Zelda Breath of the Wild came out. Revolutionary open world game that got a 97 Metacritic or whatever. And then the sequel comes
Horizon
out 3 days
2.
later.
Have you seen all the jokes on Twitter that are like, man, I can't wait for the game that follows up Horizon 3. Can't wait for that game to come along, or I can't wait for whatever game follows the Horizon VR game or whatever it is.
Every single one will be like a genre-defining masterpiece.
It's going to become a meme, isn't it? Where anytime there's a Horizon sequel, just wait for the game that's coming out immediately after it, and that game will be amazing. Oh man, that's got to suck.
Yeah, it's probably a bit frustrating, right? But yeah, no, it's nice to see, there's lots of people just playing games at the moment, which is always good. And there's been lots of news this week as well. The first kind of really, really big thing that I read a few of the reviews last night was the Steam Deck is here.
Yes.
And, a lot of tech outlets managed to publish their thoughts. And, I watched a couple of vids. I watched Digital Foundry, watched Linus Tech Tips, and I read The Verge's. I mean, I don't know. I know there's lots of people that love portable gaming and the idea of a Pocket Steam PC is tantalizing. I have to admit, I don't particularly love gaming on the go. Like, I like to be very like, right, okay, I'm gaming now and have my stuff around me. But what do you guys think? Are you thinking that the Steam is going to be just like kind of like a nice to have additive platform, or is it going to be something that changes the market? Because this, to me, is very clearly Steam going after that Nintendo Switch market, but the size difference alone is ridiculous. Like, the Steam Deck is a monster. It is huge.
But apparently the screen is not very good.
1200 by 800.
According to all the reviews, it's not even as good. The quality on the screen is not even as good as the OG Switch screen, let alone the OLED Switch screen. I know MVG is pretty excited about it from an emulation perspective. Jeff Grubb was posting some photos. He was running the Virtual Boy Wario game on it. He was running NBA Street on it, which I was like mega excited about. Some of the reviews have, I think some of the reviews have been, some of them like think it's like the greatest thing ever. Others think it's just okay. I mean, I think it'll do pretty well. I know my brother wants one, doesn't he, John?
Yes, he does. I've very kindly reserved one for him, so we'll sort that out.
Because you can't get it in Australia. So he's like, can I message John on Discord? Like, I don't want to annoy him, but like, can I message him to see if he can get me one from the UK? So I'm like, I don't think he'll have a problem with it.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually double checked with you because I was like, it's definitely Chris, because he was saying all the funny things, and then I was like, he mentioned at the end, that we'll sort it out, and he mentioned crypto, and I was like, is this a scam? So I actually straight away I was like, Nick, is this actually your brother? Is this for real? But he said, as payment for this, he will give me fun anecdotes that will damage your ego. So the first one in this barrage is when Nick's brother used to beat him in FIFA. He told his brother that the Mega Drive favors player 2 because it knows whoever picks up that controller is shit. So there you go.
All the fun things kids
all
say.
The fun things kids say to each other. So Steam Deck does look super interesting. So are you guys personally interested in getting one? Albert, is the Steam Deck something that you're like, I want one of those at some point in my life?
I had it pre-ordered, but I canceled. It does look big. I have small hands, so it's just not going to do me any favors as someone that I can't have anything too big. That being said, I think it'll do quite fairly well. A lot of my friends are excited about it. A lot of them can't wait for theirs. A lot of people want to play PC games on it. People want to play Game Pass on it. So there's a lot of options for everyone. For me, I just have too many gadgets in my home, and I think if I'm gonna have this one, I better have a really good explanation.
Reason.
Otherwise it's not gonna go too well with the missus. So
indoor management.
That's actually a pretty good segue.
He did segue as well. Do you want to segue this one? You want to take it and run with it?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, Albert just mentioned how about Game Pass and stuff, and apparently Gabe Newell, has said that he's happy to help Microsoft integrate Game Pass onto the Steam Deck, or into, I assume he was talking about Steam in general.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we've heard before that that's something that
rumors,
might be happening. According to popular rumor, is that Microsoft are exploring a way to have that subscription in a similar way to other stores within Steam, right? So that would be interesting to see if that happens. But I don't think you can play Halo Infinite on the Steam Deck right now. Apparently, I could be wrong.
No,
it doesn't work with Proton right now.
Yeah, so it doesn't support. The Steam Deck is Linux based, right? So they have to kind of be converted to work and operate on.
Right. So here's a question though: would Microsoft still bother? Do you think Microsoft would still bother with Game Pass for Steam if they were to do their own portable?
That's a good question. If they were to do their
if Microsoft did their own portable Series S, which again is what I assume an Xbox portable would be. It would be a shrunk down Series S.
Yeah.
Would they bother?
Don't know.
I mean,
maybe.
But if you can game on any device you want
with xCloud.
Yeah, right.
I've said this.
You generally have a device already that you like and that you own.
Yeah.
And it's a device that you clearly like because you own it, so you must like it to own the device. That way you're able to go ahead and game with it. And you have many options, again, from touch controls to the backbone to the clip with the controller. So it's a lot of different form factors there and variations. I mean, I don't think there's much of a need for a handheld.
Yeah,
an Xbox handheld.
I mean, hey, more the merrier. But I think with the current, setup that you have here, it just makes it easier. One less thing to buy. All right, because it makes it more accessible.
Yeah, I've said this, Albert. Will Microsoft want to create a third device? I know people, just say, "Oh, just shrink the Series S down," but the power to watt ratio would be different. Could you really cram the same type of drive and all of the stuff inside it? Probably not. If you could, it probably would die after 45 minutes. Do Microsoft want to develop games for 3 different sort of consoles and PC?
But it wouldn't be 3 though. If it was a Series S, then it's not 3.
Exactly. It wouldn't be exactly a Series S though. Like I just, and to Albert's point, the fact that xCloud exists and you can just take the phone you have in your pocket, the device you already own, and just play with the pad you already own. You don't have to worry. I just don't see it being a thing for Microsoft.
You've got the Switch.
Personally,
you've got the Steam Deck. Razer's got leaked. Razer is doing one. I don't know. It feels like, and Jez had mentioned in the past how they have been tinkering with a portable Xbox in the lab. I don't know, man. I've got a feeling. After I saw Razer doing one, I'm like, this feels like one of those trends that people are going to start jumping on now. And I reckon Microsoft might be one that jumps on too.
Like they did with Kinect and motion controls. You reckon this is a market
like they did with Kinect and motion control? Although they're not doing VR, having said that, so
exactly
that sort of goes against my point. But then again, I don't know. I've just got this funny feeling. I don't know. I reckon they're having a very good, long, hard look at getting an Xbox portable out.
I mean, I wouldn't say no, because I prefer local gaming to streaming over anything. But then that's what xCloud is to me. It's additive. It is not the only way I play.
Has anyone taken a photo of a Steam Deck against the Series S? Because I'm curious. Because it's big. It's a seriously big handheld. Like I saw a photo of it next to a Switch, and it was monstrous. And the Series S is pretty damn tiny, as anyone who owns one will know. So if they have in the last... By the time this thing were to happen, it would be almost 2 years. If they have managed to find a way to shrink that down, even to Steam Deck size, why not?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be very curious to see one held up against it. Maybe ask Tom Warren if he's got a Steam Deck and he's testing it.
I'd like to see a photo of a Steam Deck on top of a Series S. I'd be very curious to see the difference in size.
Yeah, because I've seen a Switch and the Steam Deck compared. But
same here.
Not seen a...
I can show you a Steam Deck compared to a Game Gear, which will give you an idea of...
Yeah, I've seen that as well. It's so much bigger. It's so much bigger. It's crazy. That's the Game Gear back there, just behind me, on the wall there.
You got broken down.
The Game Gear was massive back at the time, especially compared to the Game Boy.
Gotcha. It chewed through batteries as well. Good lord.
But it was so good though. You could watch TV on it. Yeah, Sega was even ahead of the game with TV. They had it in their handheld back in '92. Ah, man. That's a topic for another podcast.
The Sega podcast. But hey, so that's not the only piece of kind of interesting news this week as well. There's been a few bits, and one of the ones that kind of really tickled me was Xbox finally regaining Twitch integration.
Which Albert mentioned before. He did the tutorial tweet about the
He's
Twitch
just
integration.
lining us up for segues, right?
Yeah, it's good. I tried it out. It's good. I'm glad they finally put it there. We've been waiting for so long since Mixer was gone. We've been waiting for so long for them to put some kind of integration back in. It's just handy now that you can do it all straight from the guide rather than obviously going to the Twitch app, which is what you'd have to do all this time.
Yeah.
But I'm still hoping that, and I don't know if Albert would know or not, and even if he did, I don't know if he'd be able to answer or not.
Ooh.
But I'm just saying, like, it'd be nice to get more options as opposed to just Twitch. Like, it'd be nice if we could pick between Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, whatever streaming service we want to use.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I agree. I mean, I don't know, like streaming to Twitch is fine, but I think since Mixer kind of RIP Mixer went away, I think they kind of like have given up competing against Twitch. They've just been like, yeah, Twitch is the de facto, that's the one we'll support.
So then what does it hurt to let you pick the others?
I know. But well, I know notoriously Google do not play friendly with YouTube and Microsoft apps. Like they just don't. Like they'll build it and then, oh yeah, we've changed the back end. Oh, your app's got to be updated, and it's just a constant running game to keep everything working all the time. So maybe it's something like that. Who knows?
Well, I mean, yeah, on PS5 and PS4, they just let you pick. You link your account, and then when you want to stream, you pick whether it's YouTube or Twitch or...
Maybe it can happen then. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass.
I don't know. I hope they do. Again, I don't know if Albert knows or not, and if he did, I don't know if he could answer, but it'd be nice if they could add those other services. I'd probably... I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I'd probably only use Twitch, but there are people that don't stream to Twitch. There are people that stream to YouTube. There are people that stream to Facebook. It'd be nice for everyone to have that option.
Yeah, well, Albert can take that back to the support teams, right?
Yeah, it's that has been a popular piece of feedback. A lot of gamers have asked for different options to stream. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, I believe the more we hear that, then the more likely someone will take a look at that. So definitely doesn't hurt to put that feedback in. Hey, I want to take a look at this, take a look at that. Can we get more options? And who knows in the future?
One day.
Yeah, hopefully.
One day. What else has there been going on this week? Have we got any community questions you want to interrupt with, Nick?
We should have chucked in the Elden Ring ones back at the start.
Yeah, chuck them in now. Then
we had a couple of Elden Ring ones. DeoGame. Elden Ring scored above even our wildest imaginations, proving the longevity of the Souls-like. Do you think Microsoft should make a Souls-like or even partner with From on a new game?
Chrome Hounds 2 is what they should make, DeoGame. Chrome Hounds 2 using the Mech Warrior license, and they should make it online, and they should let me have everything. The end.
I don't know.
That's what I want.
I mean, all of From's games at the moment are multiplat, so Microsoft probably don't feel like they need to bother.
Yeah. Wonder what their next project will be. Because they've got an A and a B team, right? They've got an A and a B team.
I think so. And they've got... Microsoft's got so many studios right now. I'm sure one of them could have a crack at a
Dark
action
Souls.
RPG...
punishing
/ whatever you want to call it. Like, yeah. I mean, it's not like the genre didn't exist before Demon's Souls. Like, Ninja Gaiden was that brutally punishing hack and slash action game. There was no RPG elements to it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, was Otogi like that? Was Otogi, I guess, a Souls-like before the Souls games?
I wouldn't describe it. Like, from what I remember of Otogi, it was very kind of like floaty. It was hacking and slashing, but it was quite peaceful from memory. I might be wrong. It's a long time ago. It's like 20 plus years.
I never played it, so
very pretty.
Yeah.
very pretty game.
Yeah. And speaking of From stuff, Jesse brother, greetings. Albert, as well as Travis brother and his British and Tasmanian cohorts. Are you mad at Jess for only giving Elden Ring a lousy 9.8 and not getting XboxEra's name on From's advertising that shows all the sites and their 10 ratings? Did you
Jesse
seriously
knows
give it a
how I feel.
9.8?
Jesse knows how I feel about his
9.8.
It's really close to being a masterpiece, but there's some technical issues in the horse-mounted combat that just pulls it down. Not a full 0.5 pulls it down, because that would make John and you happy. But anything that's 0.1, 2, 3, or 4,
I don't care
6,
about
7, or
points.
8, or 9, I'm in.
I don't care about the 0.8 stuff. Like, the original God of War was a 9.8 on IGN, and that was fine. I'm not worried about the 9.8. I'm more concerned about how highly you rate some games. That is my concern.
I have one of the lower averages. I have one of the lowest averages on our site.
Yeah, he chucks in a couple of 4 out of 5s, 4 out of 10s rather, and 3 out of 10s just to keep himself trucking along. But hey,
in this case, I am right on the Metacritic, so you can't say that I was too generous.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Well, CreakyLegs. Hello, lads, and welcome, Albert. I hope you're all doing well this weekend. Much love to everyone in the Ukraine right now. If you're a game dev out there listening, Polish developer Bluber team are hiring paid internships to devs fleeing from the horrors unfolding in the Ukraine. No question, just positive vibes. But Nick is a poo-poo face for thinking Elden Ring doesn't look good. I didn't say it doesn't look good. I posted a tweet, and all I said in this tweet was, is it my imagination, or are the screenshots being posted by people not doing the game any favors? That's all I said.
I thought the art style looked incredible, personally, but
I don't know, just a lot of the screenshots I've seen have just been of a not very good looking game. And that doesn't mean the game's not good looking, it just means that the screenshots I'm seeing aren't doing the game any massive favors. Maybe in motion it looks amazing. Maybe the screenshots people are taking are just bad. I don't know. I'm just saying that the screenshots I've seen thus far haven't been doing the game many favors for me anyway.
Tickling your fancy, so to speak.
Not really.
Not really. Not really.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So what else have we got? So there was the rumor earlier this week, and this was interesting. And Albert, I'm not sure if you caught this on Twitter. There was a bit of a Twitter beef going on around this particular scoop that was scooped. Tom Henderson, who seems like a nice chap. I've not spoken to him, but I think you've had some interaction with him, Nick. He's in our Discord, right?
I would say Tom and I are friends. Yes.
Yeah. He tweeted out that Call of Duty 2023 might be delayed. First time ever for Activision to not have a yearly Call of Duty. But then another journalist got very cross and started a bit of a Twitter war. Instead of just reaching out privately and actually communicating, instead unleashing his legion of followers on poor Tom,
which he tends to do.
But yeah, regardless, either way, this story broke. And in Call of Duty 2023 going to take a break. I'm sure I'm not alone here, but Albert, we'll go to you first. I view this as a very positive thing. Especially considering everything that's been going on with Activision Blizzard, obviously with the acquisition as well. I think it's good for the franchise to maybe take a break and actually come back strong with a game that everyone's going to love. What do you reckon? Do you think this is, if the rumor is true, of course, I should say, do you think that it's the right call for the Activision and Call of Duty as a franchise?
Quite frankly, I'm not sure. I would say whatever is best for the team, whichever is best for the team, whatever is best for the fans. I obviously am not a game dev, so I don't, I can only see from the outside. So I'm not sure if it's best to have time off or is it best to keep it going. I know that they had a rotation of different studios making it. I would say, I think what happens I believe that it'll be for the best. Hopefully, the individuals behind it, well, whoever makes the call has enough information, enough insight to make the proper call. But one thing is for sure is that we'll have plenty of games. So
yeah, that's right.
Doesn't matter. There'll be a game
right
out
call.
for everybody. Yeah. So
Yeah.
exactly. A right call is gaming.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So
it's interesting timing though. Like a lot of people are already alluding to or suggesting that has there been a bit of Microsoft involvement here in this delay, which I doubt would be the case. Like they don't technically own them yet. But others have suggested, well, no, maybe they've finally taken the plunge to delay it because now that they know that Microsoft's going to buy them, they're not worried about shareholders anymore. And the need to pump out Call of Duty each and every year at the expense of developer welfare.
Yeah.
I mean, I know after Modern Warfare 2019, I said it. I'm like, delay Black Ops Cold War to 2021. Yeah. Delay Cold War by a year. Modern Warfare is still kicking ass and it's an amazing game and it's making money. Let it go for another year. Like, I don't think people are getting over Modern Warfare. It was incredible.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if it's a case of, well, Microsoft's buying us now, we don't have to worry about the shareholders pressuring us into having a Call of Duty every year, then I reckon that's great. It means the devs get a bit more breathing room, so hopefully there's no crunch involved and they're not under pressure and under stress to get a game out that's not in great shape, because have a look at Vanguard. It's probably better for the franchise because it gets, like, the sales and the reviews have shown that franchise fatigue is just starting to kick in, so maybe a year off is just what it needs to re-energize again.
Yeah.
Plus,
we've got Warzone 2 coming, and that will be supported.
Yeah, they've got Warzone 2, so I don't know. It to me, it sounds like it should theoretically only be good, like only positive stuff to come out of this.
Yeah,
if it is in fact true and it's delayed.
Well, we'll find out, I'm sure, as the year progresses.
As to Tom and Jason, maybe Jason sort of just slipped Tom a DM saying, hey, what's the deal here? Because Tom, because the way it works is you have to subscribe to Bloomberg, I think.
Yeah, there's a back end thing called Bloomberg Terminals, which is like $2,000 a month to subscribe to,
which is nuts.
Yeah.
And obviously they can't stop someone who's subscribed to that service leaking the story out before it's public. So, but all what happened was Tom was streaming and someone in his chat was mentioning it, or a bunch of people in the chat were mentioning it, and he saw some tweets about it, so he tweeted about it.
Yeah.
I don't think he was trying to break news or anything like that, but man, that was funny. I love how Tom didn't back down, though.
Yeah, I
love how Tom didn't back down. That was so
he
good.
did eventually. I think there were some deleted tweets eventually. But yeah, it is what it is. Gamer, Twitter sphere drama. That's all it is.
Very much so.
And I think there's still plenty of news. It's been a very news-filled week.
Yeah, a little bit.
Bethesda is retiring their PC launcher and is moving all of their stuff to Steam, which I don't think I've seen any negative responses for. I don't think there were big legions of fans for the Bethesda PC launcher out there. And now obviously
I barely knew it was a thing.
All moving across to Steam for their games, and you can re-get all of your content via Steam as well. That's obviously, I don't know if that's part of Microsoft's push to just do that, but certainly a piece of interesting news.
Were their games already on the Windows Store, though? Their newer games? Okay. It's blowing his nose. Awesome.
Yeah, sorry. Well, you could call that out for the audio listeners. I had it on mute.
Well, I did. But do their games also come to the Windows Store at the moment, the newer ones?
Has Bethesda released anything since they've been acquired?
Well, Doom Eternal, for example. Was Doom Eternal on the Windows Store?
It's because they put it on Game Pass PC. So pretty much anything that hit Game Pass PC, when they put all those out, they made Windows Store versions of them. But they haven't done that with like Deathloop, or I don't think they're doing it with Ghostwire Tokyo either.
Ah, okay.
Not yet.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
And I'm sure all the people that just want Steam as like the only launcher on PC will be happy.
Yeah, pretty much.
It does still require your... It requires your Bethesda network account still to pull everything over, which of course they're complaining about. Yeah, because those games they're not going to rebuild or patch them all to then work with Steam. You still need the Bethesda stuff because any multiplayer or anything like that is tied to your Bethesda account. So if they were going to change that all over to Steam, that would be a lot of work and patching on every single game. Nick.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Whatevs.
And then the last piece of really, really kind of big Xbox news was a bit of a surprise announcement.
Oh yeah.
And like this, I think we had to sit down when we saw this because it's a bit of a big change to the status quo. In the ATLUS are releasing a game
for Xbox
on the Xbox platform.
Yes.
Like
what was it called? Soul Hackers 2?
Yeah. Coming to the Xbox. It's coming out on the Xbox platform, on the Xbox consoles. ATLUS game by ATLUS, made by ATLUS. A game.
And it's actually two layers to this. Not only is it coming to Xbox day and date with PlayStation, it's not coming to Switch. That's even weirder again. How is it that an ATLUS JRPG would be coming to Xbox and PlayStation, but not Switch?
Crazy. Surely
there'll be a Switch port down the track. Surely.
Who knows? Maybe it's just not
there'd have to be
right now. Something like that.
Yeah.
And then
a weird one.
Well, big news. Big news. Does it bode well for other ATLUS games at some point in the future? I mean, you'd hope. So. You'd hope.
For the people that like those games, let's hope so.
Yep. And then the last two kind of really big pieces of news from this week were, one was Bungie, owned by Sony now. So weird.
Yeah.
Well, is it owned? Is it complete now? Is it actually owned by Sony?
I don't know if that's gone through straight away.
It's going to be owned by Sony. But Bungie posted some concept art from the long sort of known, rumored, discussed, but not really
open secret.
Matter, which is their new IP. Yeah. Are you a big fan of Bungie games, Albert? Are you like did you love Halo and Destiny, etc., etc.? I know Phil's a big fan of Destiny. I don't know if you.
Yeah, of course. I loved Halo growing up. Halo was a big part of why I loved Xbox in the first place. Yeah. And Destiny, I logged so much hours into Destiny. I mean, time and time again, and we got so many big moments from it. Just look back and remembering the first time going into the Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
Gallenhorn. Yeah, you have all these legendaries and these exotics and raids. So I mean, shout out to Bungie for Destiny. Man, I remember jumping in when at the tail end of 360, so 2014, 2013, and here we are now in a whole new gen, and Destiny's still kicking strong. I do have to jump into Witch Queen. I just took some time away after the way I was handled in the last Iron Banner, and that too felt Souls-like. Man, a lot of Destiny veteran talent in there, and they really take care of the objective well. So hats off to them, but it made me take a little bit of a break there because well, at least from PvP, but I should jump back into PvE shortly.
Yeah, I know a lot of my friends. I think the Witch Queen expansion launched this week as well, right? And I know certainly a lot of my Destiny playing friends are grinding that one out like nobody's business right now. It's not for me, but I know that Forbear, as part of the team on the site, is working on his kind of review, and I know he's a big Destiny fan as well. So we can look forward to seeing his video and his thoughts as soon as he's got his brain written down onto paper for everybody.
Did you see the concept art?
What for Matter's concept art? Yeah, it looks really interesting.
It looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I
very
liked it.
bright
Very
and colourful,
super
flying
colourful
ships and
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
sky cities and stuff like that.
I liked
I'm
it.
like,
It looked
okay.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, look, Bungie are kings of FPS. You know, like their shooting always feels really, really incredibly good. And I'm very curious to see. But then I see stuff like this, and I'm like, are you going to make another MMO? Is that what it's going to be? And if it is, do I want another job? No, I don't.
Yeah, I'm not really. Yeah.
So, yeah, it might be one of those things where I'm like, that looks cool, but I'm never going to have the time to play it in the way that people want those games to be played. I'll probably just fall off of it. But they are kings of marketing.
The rumors around Matter were actually that it's more a hero shooter like Overwatch originally.
Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe. I'd
be more on board for that.
Yeah, like if it's another big, grindy levels, it's not my jam. But yeah, so super interesting though. I'd be curious to see, and obviously that's going to be on a Sony stage at some point when that gets revealed.
Yep.
But hey, at least it's multi-platform, apparently. But yeah, and then the very last piece of news, of noteworthy news at least, was Street Fighter 6.
We spoke last week that
we did.
It was the countdown, the Capcom countdown, and it was either going to be Resident Evil Remake or Street Fighter 6. Jeff Grubb was like, probably expect Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
So we did have a bit of a discussion about that last week. And as I was slightly worried about, they didn't show any platforms for Street Fighter 6. Which, yeah. But the funny thing is, everyone's interpreting that in a different way.
Yeah.
So some people are interpreting that to mean that, it will be multiplat. Where to me, I think that means that my suspicions have been confirmed and it's probably going to be exclusive.
Well, I would say to you, Nick, that they're clearly hurting for money because their logo was nabbed off of
that logo is
stock site for $80.
God.
So they clearly need some Sony money to get that game made, apparently.
That logo
maybe
is
you're not
odd.
wrong. It's really,
odd.
Really strange.
It is.
Strange to announce.
It was very confronting, but not in a out there, bright, colourful way. It was confronting just in terms of how nothing it is. It's just Street Fighter's logos have had a theme. And again, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a logo, bro. Yeah, but I was a graphic designer, so this stuff bothers me, and this stuff, I pay attention to this stuff. Street Fighter's logos have had a theme to them. They haven't always been the same.
Yeah.
But there's been a theme. And, even Street Fighter V's logo, I loved it. Regardless of what you think of the game itself, the logo was cool, and it fit the theme, and it was strong and bold, and this, that, the other. This logo is just... It's so nothing. If you were to pass a billboard in the street with that logo on it, you'd just think it was an ad for furniture or something, and you'd keep on driving. You wouldn't even know it was a...
I think that's the biggest piece of criticism I could throw at it is that it does not... I don't look at it and solely on my own go, oh, that must be the new Street Fighter.
Oh, that's Street Fighter.
Yeah.
That's Street Fighter.
What is that? Don't know.
It's nothing. And then, of course, the other side of it. So, usually Street Fighter trailers give you an idea of the visual art style of the game. And if that's the case, they're going in a fairly different direction. With the art style, I don't mind it how it looked. I've seen some funny memes comparing how wide Ryu is to the
he is very
Kylo
wide.
Ren meme, the Adam Driver meme where he's super wide, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, look, I've loved pretty much every Street Fighter game, so I fully assume that I will also love Street Fighter 6. I'll be a little bit disappointed if it has been money-headed, and there's something I'd like to say, but I'm not sure if I should, because a different source reached out to me about that whole exclusivity thing.
Yeah.
And I asked my original source, I'm like, is this still money-headed? They didn't show platforms. Is it... Because, remember, I was told back in 2020. We're now a year and a half later. So... I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works. If Sony really did pay for exclusivity and the money changed hands, I assume that doesn't get undone. Does it?
I assume it doesn't.
Yeah, I assume that stuff doesn't get undone. So I don't know. I had another source reach out to me and say, well, I don't think it is exclusive. I'm like, they'll probably have exclusive DLC and maybe some timed stuff here and there. But they're like, I don't think it's been locked down. So now I have no idea what to think.
Yeah.
I've had two sources that I trust both tell me different things now about Street Fighter. So my guess is if it was multiplat, I don't know. I just think if it was multiplat, they probably would have just said it.
Yeah.
Like even in the teaser.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out in the summer. Are you a big fighting game fan, Albert? Is that a genre that you're particularly familiar with, or are you kind of like fighting games?
I've grown up playing fighting games. Not too good at it, but I've definitely played my fair share of fighting games. I definitely lost a lot of controllers to it. Well, not more so of the raging. Yeah, I never do a controller, but just burning like the rubber off the sticks and stuff like that. So I've tried to move towards fight sticks.
Yeah.
That way I don't have to worry about my controller breaking down because I'm trying to make something happen and it's still not happening. So yeah.
You got to use the D-pad, mate.
D-pad, yeah.
The D-pad.
I'm at a.
It's too much. Too many combos. I can't do it.
It's definitely more fun for me to watch than play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was
I'm
like,
with you on that. Let
me watch some proper talent. I can't do it, but let me watch somebody properly put on the show. So.
Yeah, watching Killer Instinct and
definitely love to spend
Killer Instinct, man. That's the best to watch. That's so good to watch.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I saw an interesting rumor. Someone pinged me a rumor earlier this week or today. I might have even read it. Maybe it was even on our forums. I can't remember. And it just got my brain thinking. Right, so this isn't a rumor mill by any stretch of the imagination. I've read this somewhere on the internet. Was that apparently Ed Boon tweeted out about, I'd love to be able to talk about my next game, but I'll get in a lot of trouble. I do. And it's like, well, you're either working on Mortal Kombat, right? Or are you?
Something else.
And then I know that there's obviously a lot of discussion, but I think you've heard that it's actually a Japanese studio in particular that's apparently working on Killer Instinct 2.
No, that was Jez's article. Jez had an article speculating or saying that he may have heard that there might be a Japanese.
It just got my brain synapses tingling. I was like, what if
No.
contracted? No,
I said it back then. Okay, that's the one thing I was told, that it's not NetherRealm making Killer Instinct 2. No.
There you go.
I said it back. If you go back and watch that episode, I said it. It's not NetherRealm.
Yeah.
The rumor today was more about it not being Injustice 3, which would have been the logical next game with what they've been doing. And people intimating from what he said that it is not an Injustice game because it's just not the same thing and he can't talk about it.
There you go. Now we know.
I wonder.
Now we know.
What if it's more?
And the speculation is it's not Injustice because if they're sold, they won't have the access to DC characters anymore.
Yeah. What if it's Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter? Could you imagine?
Oh, that would be an interesting one.
Would
Capcom allow for Ryu to be beheaded and spine ripped out and all sorts of horrific stuff?
But Injustice is the same. Injustice, I don't think they have any of the full-on gory stuff in Injustice either.
Oh. Well, yeah, no, but Mortal Kombat versus... or Mortal Kombat mix.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It is Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Well, Mortal Kombat versus DC they didn't allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, see? So maybe Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter. That'd be cool.
I'm just checking.
I'd love that.
I'm just checking. We've got a super chat here from Supernova, who says, is Roundhouse Studios working on a remaster for the Fallout series, or are they working on something new? Nick, you got any thoughts on
I've said it 100 times with Roundhouse. I'd just be a broken record. I've said it so many times. I've heard a rumor, like a maybe, on what they might be working on, and I can't say it because I understand the result of me saying what I have heard, so I'm not going to say it. But if it's true, it'll be worth getting excited about.
Oh, there you go.
If it's true. Again, I have no idea if it's true. That's why I'm not going to say it.
If.
But between what Supernova is saying there, Fallout series or something new.
Well, there you go.
Between those two things, something new.
Okay, so
if that's true.
Here's a question for Albert. I've got and I don't know exactly what genres you absolutely love versus what you absolutely don't, but I think it's fair to say that the Xbox platform as it exists today versus what you kind of encountered and was started playing maybe in 2013 when the Xbox One came out or before with the 360, the world is going to be very different in a couple of years, right? And the number of studios and content creators that they have working under the Xbox platform is vastly improved, shall we say. Of all the new projects that you've seen that have been announced, I'm not asking you to, if behind the scenes you might have heard a rumbling, whatever the case may be. So just the new stuff that's been announced, like Fable or Perfect Dark or Avowed or Outer Worlds 2, and this list could go on for ages, so I'm not going to. What is the one sort of new game that's coming down the pipe from a particular team or developer that you're kind of like, yeah, this is the one I can't wait for. This is so glad this is back. Like, this is going to make my life so happy, etc., etc. What's the one game?
Wow, that's
big question. I appreciate
that's really tough to that's really tough to choose because there's so many titles coming out that I would love. I mean, obviously there's Hellblade. There's a Hellblade.
Yeah,
I loved the first one. Everything I've seen so far from the second one looks amazing. Like I live for the dev diaries that Editor does.
Yeah,
I believe the last one they were like walking up in the hill area, mountain areas, and they were like making the noises and
like the combat sounds, wasn't it? They were like
screaming and yelling, and I'm like, man, this is dedication. As much I would love to say Hellblade. Starfield is of course, the one. If you had to choose one, it's going to be Starfield. However, there's a small part of me that is going Redfall because in my eyes, Arcane has never missed, and I love Dishonored. Like I love Dishonored so much. I actually have the original, sealed.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I love Dishonored 2. Death
of the
amazing.
Outsider?
Of course.
Yeah,
I have all of that.
That's actually the one I bought. I bought Death of the Outsider.
Nice.
It's pretty good.
So
I like it.
I'm pretty certain Redfall is going to be a delight. But for all intents and purposes, Starfield.
Yeah. I think it's the game that this is the game that signals the beginning or the start of Microsoft's big avalanche of regular AAA content, right? Because I know 2021 was an incredible year for Microsoft. I think they won Publisher of the Year mostly everywhere, without Bethesda being included in the publishing arm, which is kind of insane. Which is great, and they released tons and tons of really good games. This year, right now, and I know the big topic of conversation is how quiet everything is on the actual AAA games front. I would also say Microsoft fans are kind of used to waiting, and I kind of describe this year as the last big wait, or at least the next 6 months as the last big waiting period before that kind of avalanche of content starts coming to life. Me personally, I'm Starfield I'm very curious about because I don't normally love really deep, complex, long RPGs, but I'm a huge sci-fi nerd, so it's kind of ticking all the box genres for me. The game genre is the only one that I'm kind of like, please don't, please maybe at least be a shooter a la Fallout, and then I'll kind of get along with it. But Fable for me is a big one to see back from a very British studio, and again a British studio is picking up the ball and running with it. I'm curious about Redfall because I love playing co-op games with friends. But outside of that, Perfect Dark is probably my next most anticipated.
Perfect Dark.
What about you, Nick? What are yours? Just while we're on the subject.
Yeah, Perfect Dark and Hellblade.
Yeah.
That's it. I know I'm normally over the shoulder thing, but Hellblade was a very linear short game, which I loved. I love my short games, and to me, if you're going to do the over the shoulder thing, I'd prefer that it's nice and linear. I'm over the open worlds, those bloated open worlds. Like, part of the reason I love the Tomb Raider games is because it's those smaller open hubs, whatever you want to call them, rather than a full-blown open world. So I'm hoping Ninja Theory stick to the similar formula and keep Hellblade 2 fairly linear and intimate. They
tell their story.
Focused.
Yeah.
Because, the first Hellblade was great, and I saw people complain about the combat. I thought the combat was fine. Yeah. I'm not saying it was the greatest combat the industry has ever seen or anything, but the way people talked about the combat, they acted like it was like the worst thing in a video game, and I thought it was completely fine.
It was what I really loved about the combat was particularly when you were wearing, decent headphones. Was having the different voices. Look out behind you, and you would instinctively block, and you ka-ching, and you'd be like, you feel really cool. And it was such a clever way of telling you that wasn't like a visual. The enemy's going to light up, or it was like a voice telling you block now, and it's like, this is I hope
they keep it. I hope they keep it that focused and that intimate, and I'll enjoy Hellblade 2 immensely. If they've followed the trend and gone full-blown, bloated, open world, fetch quest, collectathon, then I'd be less excited for it.
Yeah.
Perfect Dark is Perfect Dark, so of course I just want Perfect Dark. And I obviously want them to hurry up and announce GoldenEye.
That's hurry up come this year.
Just hurry up, announce it, get it out there. I want to play GoldenEye. I just want to play it. Hurry up and get it out there. I'm tired of waiting.
Yeah, and it's funny. While I'm on the subject, GoldenEye made me think of multiplayer. It made me think of split screen gaming, and it made me think of. I saw a challenge. I saw that we were challenged. The XboxEra crew, particularly, were challenged by the crew at Seasoned Gaming for a little 4v4 Halo. And I thought,
oh, really?
We could rise to that challenge. And then I thought, well, if we're going to do this, wonder how many other communities of people we could get involved and do like a little mini XboxEra versus the world tournament of some description. And I thought, that might be fun. So maybe I'll start a thread and see if people fancy it, and we'll do like a little.
We'll get Game On Daily. We'll get the Iron Lords.
Yeah, I'd love to see who can become victorious,
and we'll make it SWAT to guarantee that we win.
Whoa!
We'll make it SWAT.
Cut off
Tactical Slayer.
I have an idea if you're going to go ahead and do that.
Go on.
Really want to test the power of teamwork, not versus, but I would say Overcooked.
I love it.
Yeah, see whichever team gets the highest score. So just take each team and put them in the most treacherous kitchen. Like that's really gonna test you. They're gonna test you.
Yeah.
Like,
you really
who's washing the dishes? Who's washing the dishes? Who's washing the pots? What's going on here? Who do the ham on the floor? It's gonna. I think Overcooked 2 like really gets it going. Yeah. It's intense.
You need to coordinate big time.
It also makes you hate each other if you screw up. Like, why aren't you cooking the ham? I want. That's always the argument.
Come on, bring me more plates. Come on. Oh, it's full on, man. Like I was trying to play with my kids, and I had to stop because I was screaming at them.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on, chop it up, get the tomatoes going. Come on, I had to stop because I was getting too aggressive. I'm like, this is a kid's game. Like, why am I getting so angry? Like, I have to just stop.
Oh man, it cracks me up.
That's good. I like that.
Let's have a look and poke our noses into community questions. We got any left, Nick?
Yeah, we got a few. So we may as well just cut to the normal. We'll give a shout out to the patrons and finish off the community questions.
In that case, so community questions come from our patrons, and our patrons support XboxEra directly and allow us to do all these wonderful things. If you want to support XboxEra, you can go and visit patreon.com/XboxEra, and for as little as $1 in your currency a month, so be it £1 or an Australian dollar or ₹1 or whatever, you can also support us, and you get access to the Patreon lounge where you can ask community questions that come onto this podcast. It's lots of fun, and we really value the support. So big thank you to all of our patrons for everything you guys do. You make it all possible. So much love to you. Go on then, Nick. What do we got? What
okay.
remaining?
There's not many left, so we'll get through these pretty quick, I reckon.
Cool.
Cade Forever. I'm going to piggyback my question from DeoGame and his question. I've always thought Deck 13 from Focus Interactive would be a good partnership to try and enter the Souls market. The first game, Lords of the Fallen, was laughable, critical, and commercial failure. However, following up that project, they have made 2 very adequate mid-tier Souls-likes in the Surge 1 and 2 that have been received very well by Souls fans. In my opinion, they are the second best developer in Souls-like games, right behind the originator, From Software. Yeah.
I know Justin played the Surge, and he was a big fan. Yeah, kind of switched him onto it. And he went
They're
back
apparently not bad games in that genre, in that style. Anyway, again, I never played them. I think I tried the demo. They released a demo for the Surge 1, and I tried it out. I thought it was okay. It wasn't anything that gripped me to the point where I had to go out and buy it later, but
yeah,
it was
Jesse,
okay.
Albert, have either of you guys played the Surge 1 or 2?
I have not, I'm afraid.
You have to put it onto the backlog then, apparently. It's a big Dark Souls-alike genre.
It's backlog.
It just grows.
Yeah, I don't do it at this point. I just wake up and I just play games and I hope for the best. It's just never ending.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft's having a look at Focus.
What, Focus Home Interactive?
Yeah, as a smaller acquisition, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said ages ago, I don't think anyone's off the table. Now, I honestly didn't think Activision was a part of that equation, but clearly now that Activision has happened, there really is no one off the table. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft has had a look at or is having a look at Focus and Deck 13 and all that.
It's a question I realised I didn't ask of Albert, actually, and I appreciate you might not be able to say too much, Albert, but you know, obviously the Activision news for the majority of the folks working at Microsoft, they had no idea this was coming either, right? And then suddenly you see the news break and the press release comes out and they announce their intent to acquire Activision Blizzard. Were you like everybody else? Were you like, what the heck? Like, did it surprise you to see that kind of massive announcement from Microsoft just on a random Tuesday?
Definitely. I was shocked. I was shocked. You know, I thought just having the purchase of Bethesda was shocking enough. I remember that, and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy. This is amazing."
Yeah. And
I was just getting my day started when I had friends saying, "Hey, look at this. Have you seen this? Have you seen this?" And I'm just looking, just like looking at the links, and I'm like, "Hey, just stop with the rumors, you know, just like, you know, be careful. There's always rumors flying around. People will say this, they'll say that." But then the links kept coming through, and more and more people kept calling it. And then it was more than people. Then you had like official publications calling it, and then you had the official drop from Xbox, and I'm like, wow, this is like, I had my jaw dropped the entire day. It was epic.
Yeah,
it was epic.
It's definitely been it's been a crazy start to the year, and and that makes me, you know, I agree to a degree that it's all about the games, right? And I think certainly on the Xbox side right now, we're kind of like very quiet on the actual video games front, Microsoft. But at the same time, I'm like, you can't really, you know, they've not skimped on dropping some bombs to start the year off, right? So swings and roundabouts. Let's all just be patient and wait.
I think I've finally fixed my mic. And,
congratulations, Jesse.
So yes, I've played the Surge 2. It's fun, and it's on Game Pass. So if you want to play it, go ahead.
Well, there you go. Thank you for the public service announcement there. That's very helpful.
Okay.
I mean,
3 more questions left.
Oh, go on. Sorry, Albert.
Oh, I mean, if you take a look at it, there has been some definitely pretty good beats. Obviously, the intent to purchase Activision. Then we had Rainbow in Game Pass. Then we had the trilogy for Hitman as well.
Hitman.
And then we have MLB The Show following up. it's encore from last year. Also, day and date. Obviously, not everybody plays all those games, but there's something for everyone. And Xbox is continuing to have its variety out there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and
I'll
as
say that very least.
Jesse just pointed out as well in the chat here, Total Warhammer 3 on PC was absolutely huge. Really highly rated game.
Yep, just had Warhammer.
And I think that's the beauty of Game Pass overall for Microsoft right now. And I know that the rumors of Sony's Spartacus platform are coming. We're expecting some sort of show or announcement in March at some point. But it gives them that really regular, there's nothing but good news here, kind of news beat, right? Of these games that are coming this month. And yes, some months you'll be like, there's nothing really there for me. But 9 times out of 10, there's always at least one game in the pool of games coming that I'm like, yeah, I'll download that and give that a go. It's always something positive to talk about. I guess this is a good segue into your question, because the other thing that Microsoft give away is games with gold.
I really like this question. I sort of had a pre-read before the show because there was only like one question for a long, long time. And then all of a sudden I woke up this morning and there was a ton more. But I actually quite like this question. This is from ShadowlessEdge, who I know is watching right now. Hello, everyone. Sorry. My question is around games with gold. Each month as new games get announced, I see the usual groan of, I already own this, why did they give us that game, etc., etc. I, for one, still love games with gold, as it usually means I get to replace a physical game with a digital, so no swapping out discs. Yay. So my question is this. XboxEra have been given the ropes for the month of April to set up the best games with gold ever. Xbox has given you set criteria, though, that you must meet. It must consist of 4 games, 2 Xbox One, 2 Xbox 360, and I assume 2 Xbox 360 can also mean OG Xbox, if he could answer that in the chat. Yeah. Because they also give away
I imagine it would
OG Xbox games too. Maximum spend $90 for the month, no free-to-play, no sale prices. You can't use any previous games with gold entries. The average Metacritic score must be at least 73 plus for the month.
I can't wait this out on a podcast live.
I was about to say, like, working between the three of you, what games do you think would get the best community response? I actually quite like this question. It's a very difficult one to answer in a reasonable amount of time without doing research on it. But I actually quite like the question. And yeah, I'm with Cameron. I think I still like games with gold. I understand that the 4 games aren't always, oh my god, amazing. Like, PlayStation Plus next month is quite good. It's like Team Sonic Racing, Ghosts of Tsushima multiplayer thing, and a couple of others. It's actually quite a good month.
Yeah.
Wow.
But as I've said before, the reason I love games with gold is because of those 360 and OG games that you get to keep. And yes, quite often you get to replace a disc or whatever the case may be. And again, you keep those games forever. So I still think games with gold is great, personally. Even if the actual games involved aren't always the best.
Yeah.
As to this question, wow. We've got to pick 4 games, 2 Xbox One games and 2 OG/360 games to give away on games with gold.
Well, I have one for you.
Go on.
Go.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2 remake.
Yep.
And I'm gonna can't lie, I'm a little biased here. I love Tony Hawk growing up playing the games, but that's a fantastic game. I believe it meets all the criteria, it's definitely beautifully well done and meets a Metacritic. Looks beautiful.
Yeah.
A lot of people love it.
You've led me to the next one. You've actually quite brilliantly led me to another one, especially since they're about to buy Activision. Sekiro. May as well chuck Sekiro in there as the second game.
Yeah.
Alongside Tony Hawk. Souls-likes are all the rage at the moment. Metacritic is like 90. Hasn't been on there before.
That's true.
Another good one. Yeah.
That's 2 good
Sekiro and
games.
Tony Hawk as your Xbox One games. Why not?
And then
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is pretty good. I've been playing it on PlayStation 5.
Amazing.
It's quite good.
I'll put in Max Payne 3. I don't think that's been on games with gold.
It hasn't, but
I don't care about any licensing issues.
It's not available in some countries, so you can't do it.
It's available in my country. So it's going on my list. Max Payne 3. And then what's another Xbox 360 game or OG Xbox game?
OG Xbox game or a 360? I think they already did split second. I
Yeah.
I would have said split second otherwise. No. It's got to get a good, like something that the community will love. So I think Tony Hawk is a perfect choice and Sekiro are great choices, given context and everything.
Did they ever give away
360 and OG games? Sorry?
Did they ever give away?
No, it was on Game Pass for a while.
It was. So yeah, Ninja Gaiden Black.
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden 2.
That's good. That's another 360.
The game that everyone's been waiting to go on sale for like ever and a day. It's a game that everyone would love to own. So I reckon Ninja Gaiden 2 as a 360 game. And then an OG game. I reckon go an OG game is the next one. I don't know. KOTOR.
What about Otogi?
Yeah.
But then there's too much souls. You've already got Sekiro on there. You've got Ninja Gaiden 2 as your brutal hack and slash. You're going to chuck a Togi in there as well. Nah. What about KOTOR?
Yeah. I don't think KOTOR's been given away.
I don't think it's in games.
Is that in? I think that's on Game Pass.
Yeah, but it still could be given away as.
Or it was given away. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
How about Fallout New Vegas?
Yeah.
Has that been given?
Wait,
not sure.
Is that on Game Pass as well?
Yes.
Oh,
it is.
Yeah, that's on Game Pass.
But how did we
I
not
just
talk
assumed
about
it's Fallout.
How did we not talk about that rumor that dropped from Jeff Grubb yesterday?
There's a community question about it. Question about it.
Well, then let's segue on over.
Yeah, but we were still answering this question.
We've come up with like 6 games at this point.
Relax. Just calm down, okay? So we've said Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 HD or remake, Sekiro, Ninja Gaiden 2, and what's the last one? Are we going KOTOR?
Yeah, I think that's a solid. That's a solid list for games with gold.
We're saying KOTOR.
Jade
that's
Empire
a
would
list
be
that
better.
people. I think. Sorry.
Jade Empire would be better than KOTOR. I think it plays a lot better still.
But would it get
Actually
people
playing
excited?
KOTOR, playing the old KOTOR is not fun. It does not hold up to me at all.
I just thought people would get excited. I'm trying to think from a wider gaming
They
community
would
perspective.
until
of people
they
saying,
played it.
what a great month. That's
Yeah, it would be bigger for that.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I was trying to get at. I think we put together a pretty damn good games with gold for April.
Yeah, I think it's a good list. I appreciate that.
That's a good question. I like questions like that. I like those sorts of
100%.
things. Okay. Faisal. Faisal has a community question. Hello, friends. Oh, that's what we didn't ask Albert.
His face was giving us the segue. I already saw it.
Yeah. We'll quickly ask Albert before I do the community question. Now, Albert, I'm going to guess that, like many people, you're a fan of movies and TV shows, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a fan of the TV show Friends?
It's okay to answer no, Albert. It is okay to answer no.
No.
Don't let Nick.
No.
There you go.
I'm not a fan.
Oh my God.
That being said, I did watch it in its entirety. To be fair, I did watch it in its entirety because I wanted to really understand all of the love behind the show. But in the end, it was not for me.
I wanted to understand all of the love.
I did.
He did
I
not.
did. It's not. It's,
I like that. I wanted
Friends
to
is not for me.
understand all of the love. I like that.
Dear. That's classic. Oh, poor
God,
Friends. Friends is not doing well.
We're never going to find anyone that likes Friends.
It's a bit of an in-joke on the XboxEra podcast, Albert, in case you're sitting there thinking, why are they asking me about this sitcom? This is so weird. And it purely comes from the fact that Nick and I have been podcasting for some time and actually we're both big fans of that show and never realized. And then when it got discovered, it took over the show for like an hour of just discussing. It was ridiculous. And it's
Friends
become
is so good.
It's become a
That's
thing.
the best.
So I apologise to any future guests that also have to answer that question. You know, like in the like 2 years time when we're like on episode like 500 or something, and we get like
man, if
Phil
you know,
on or something, and
if we ever get Phil on, we have to ask him. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, and imagine if he says no, our little hearts will break.
We have to ask him if we can ever get him on. We have to ask him, and I can already like Jesse's going to be like, I'll start the build up to the question, and Jesse's going to be like, no, don't do it, don't do it.
Oh,
okay, Faisal's question. As I'm not a huge fan of Souls games or Fallout, hey, Faisal's like me, I figured there wouldn't be a topical question for me to ask this week. Luckily, I just remembered Matthew Perry played Benny in Fallout New Vegas. So which Friends actor needs to have a major role in Fallout New Vegas 2 if the rumors are accurate?
And it's an interesting one because this isn't the only rumor that I saw come to light. He also was... I saw a rumor saying that there were collections of games being considered
for remasters.
For remasters, and isn't that interesting, Nick? Because I think you'd heard a little rumor of a franchise going under that kind of remastering.
I had been told that there was a Microsoft franchise which I was not allowed to mention. I saw lots of guesses. I saw tons of guesses.
Yeah.
But yes, I had been told that there was a Microsoft franchise that was getting that Master Chief remaster collection treatment. So, and now it looks like Jeff has heard that there's some old IPs getting some remaster treatment.
Interesting.
So it sounds like there's a lot of that going around.
Yeah, but Fallout New Vegas 2 is the latest rumor that is
apparently being considered or something like that.
Yep, Obsidian.
With Obsidian. Everyone said that. As soon as they bought Obsidian and then Bethesda, everyone's like, well, Obsidian has to make Fallout New Vegas 2, don't they?
And I think the reality of this conversation, and this is pure conjecture and supposition by me, is that, you know, much like, you know, Ryan McCaffrey tweeting and suggesting that they cancel Grounded and you know, pitch teams over so they can get more games quickly. The reality is that with Starfield being completed and Elder Scrolls 5 or 6, whatever one it is, six being the next game from Bethesda, Fallout is a decade away at this point, right? If that. So when you have so many teams, and you have in particular a team that made a beloved part of Fallout's sort of legacy with New Vegas in a short space of time, it has some of the best quest lines and some of the best writing for the franchise. Why not have that conversation of like, hey, you're doing these small projects. How would you guys like to have a proper crack at Fallout New Vegas 2? It makes sense to me as an idea. So when I saw that rumor from Jeff Grubb doing the rounds, I was like, yep, I can imagine that's a conversation that would probably taken place.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, which Friends actor
gets a role in Fallout New Vegas 2? Do you know what? The only one I've seen in regular that's been doing roles outside of Aniston, and her roles haven't particularly impressed me. I last saw David Schwimmer in the trial of OJ Simpson. The
Was he in that
series? He played Thingy Kenner. I can't remember. He was there. He was his lawyer, I think, or friend, wow. And he did a really good job in that TV show. He was like solid acting. So I was like, yeah, you know, let's get David Schwimmer in there, get some of that greased back Fallout hair look.
No. Female pro tag. You have a female pro tag, Jennifer Aniston. Why not?
Okay.
Female pro tag, Jennifer Aniston.
I mean, I'm not saying no. I'm fine with them all.
Yeah. That's mine.
But yeah,
I want Jennifer Aniston in a video game.
I thought you were just going to end the sentence at "I want Jennifer Aniston," and then that was it. But
that's fine. I'm not going to say no to that either. But yeah, I'd like Jennifer Aniston in a video game.
Well, that's it's going to be interesting either way. So Fallout New Vegas 2 could happen. That's the rumor. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
I think we're down to our last question.
Last question, yes. From Knottian. Happy Black History Month and good evening to John, Nick and Jesse, and a very warm welcome to Albert. Quick questions for the entire crew before some Albert exclusives. Celebrating the successful release of Elden Ring, What is everyone's favorite From Software game within the style of Dark Souls, Elden Ring? Well, we just said that, John and I don't really play them.
Yeah, I'll pass on having a favorite Souls-like game.
Yeah, we unfortunately can't have a favorite From Souls-like because we've never played any of the From games.
What about you, Albert? I know you're playing Elden Ring and you're enjoying it right now, but have you played all the Dark Souls and Demon Souls previously, or?
I've played them in passing, but never in its entirety. But I can already see myself playing Elden Ring the longest out of them, so I'm going to go with Elden Ring.
The latest, and apparently the greatest. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, latest and the greatest.
Why not? Yep. Also, even though it's not an answer to the question, it's obviously the answer is Chrome Hounds. So, yeah. Anyway, so we got some exclusive Albert questions.
Yeah, the next questions are for Albert. For Al, it's been such a joy to see you succeed at Xbox and with so much style. And anytime you're hosting an event or featured, I know it's going to be a damn good time. Had one of my questions asked already, Phil's speech and Microsoft Xbox walking the walk, so I look forward to your elaboration beyond what you've already said on Twitter. My second question was going to be a lighter one. As someone who constantly manages to pull off impeccable style regardless of the gear, do you have a favorite clothing brand? Also, if you could only buy shoes from one brand from now on, which brand would it be? As a Clarks man, I'd love to hear your thoughts. P.S. Lightning is the GOAT. Love to you all, and I wanted to say how much my thoughts are on the people of Ukraine right now, and I hope that those that are able to help in any way they can are doing so. Yes.
Well, first and foremost,
big questions for you, Albert.
First and foremost, Lightning is the GOAT. That's why a Square gave her 3 games, so he'll leave that at that. Wow. I'm trying to get all the questions.
Favorite brand of clothing?
Favorite brand of clothing. Ooh, I'm going to go with Uniqlo.
Oh,
if you've heard of, I really like Uniqlo. Some way, somehow, I'm always wearing something from Uniqlo. If it's not socks or like a hat or heat tech because it gets really cold out here in New York. But I'm going to go with Uniqlo.
Interesting.
So that's my favorite brand, I would say.
And if you could only wear one brand of shoe, what brand would it be?
Easily Asics.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So prior to coming to Microsoft, I spent 1 year working for a running company, and I was taught to become a better runner. So I ran track in high school, and pretty much that entire year was a transition from me from running sprints to becoming a marathon runner. And I tried every shoe under the sun, but Asics is the only one that I trust to get me from the starting to the finish line. And I say that with 8 marathons under my belt. I love Asics, and I'll wear them for fashion, for lifestyle, for exercise. So if it's one shoe or like one brand of shoe, I'm gonna go with Asics.
I hear that about Asics all the time, that if you're actually a serious runner, that's the brand that you go for. Although some people mention New Balance too, but like 90% talk about Asics as the brand they wear if they're serious about running. I don't know. I'm an Adidas man. Have been ever since I was a teenager. I love all their original stuff. All the stuff they've brought forward from the 70s and the 80s. I mean, they're starting to do their 90s stuff now too, which is a little more embarrassing. But, Adidas for me always. Like, there's a pair I wear now. I mean, I've got a pair of Air Maxes as my everyday shoes that I wear for walking or the gym or whatever. But purely from a fashion perspective to wear out or whatever, I've got Adidas Sambas, which I absolutely love. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I've always been an Adidas guy.
I have 2 pairs of shoes. I have a pair of 3-year-old Converse high tops, which are absolutely destroyed because I built my house in them, and they're covered in like glue and cement, and they've got holes in and they leak. But I haven't had to go anywhere for 2 years, so I've refused to spend 90 quid on shoes. And I have a pair of work shoes, which I've also not worn for 2 and a bit years. I am not a fashion guy in any. Can you tell? Can you tell, XboxEra crew? So yeah, I have like half the brands. I'm like, who? What? I don't know. I know Adidas. I know Nike. I know. That's it. Reebok. I don't know. Anyway, we do have a super chat, by the way, and I have to read this one out.
Morklin?
Yes, it is from Jake Morklin. That's why I wanted to read it out.
Morklin? Yeah, don't worry. I saw the message. I saw the message. Okay, Jake Morklin got me a gaming laptop, HDMI to my 65 and Scuff Pro controller, and now I can play Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghostwire Tokyo, KOTOR Remake without a PS5.
Wow, good for you, my man.
Okay,
enjoy life. Just tell you.
With Sony putting all their games on PC now, I mean, who needs a PlayStation anymore, right?
That's not how this works, and you know that.
No, that's not how it works.
That's not how this works. That's not the
people prefer console sometimes.
Yes. Did you not know that?
Oh, right. Okay. I just assumed that if you had a super powerful PC that played everything, then there's no need for a console at all. No?
Yeah. No, that's it's a fallacy. It's a lie.
Okay.
Fair enough. Just in case you weren't aware.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so look, hey, folks, it's a chilly, at least where I am, Saturday night. We've gone through our community questions. We've gone through the news of the week. We're about ready to wrap things up here. But before we do so, I'd like to give Albert the opportunity, if you want to shout anyone out, promote your Twitter handle, all of that fun stuff. Where can people connect with you? Where can people find you? Please, Albert, let the people know.
Well, first and foremost, thank you all for having me on the show. Great job.
No worries.
I do follow the XboxEra. All congratulations on meeting the goals for your book. I can't wait for it to come out.
Thanks.
That's going to be exciting. And I can be found on Twitter at ATLUS, so A as in Apple, LKALLUS. And that's that. Yep. So find me there.
I'll give him a follow.
Sharing some Xbox stuff, talking about WWE. I am a fan. And yeah.
Awesome.
And then sharing some fits, because I'm always getting some merchandise and some Xbox stuff and trying to style together. But
awesome. And hey, look, seeing as you brought up the book, I am due to give our backers an update, but we've passed the data and we've got our final list of the top 10 original Xbox games that are definitely going to be featured. Right, so these are the definite ones as selected by our backers. We're probably going to pick another few because we want to and because we can. But I can tell you now that the games that are definitely going to be featured within the book, so they're going to have some sort of retrospective write-up and look back at, are Halo Combat Evolved came in at first place. We are shocked. Halo 2 came in at second place. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic in third. Fable in fourth. Jet Set Radio Future fifth. Crimson Skies. The Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Jade Empire. The original Splinter Cell. And I believe, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 were the top 10. The next 5 were Ninja Gaiden, Burnout 3, PGR 2, Panzer Dragoon, Auto, and the original Project Gotham Racing. So there's lots to pick from, but we've got around, in total, I think something like, this shows how much love there were for games on that platform. There's a wide variety of opinions. There are over 261 games that were in someone's top 10, which is crazy to me, but also not surprising at the same time because of how passionate the Xbox community is. So thanks, Albert, for bringing it up. I thought I'd tease a little exclusive there on the podcast so people can know what kind of games are going to be featured. And I think that's it from the Xbox crew this week. A relatively short. We still hit 2 hours. I was about to say relatively short. It felt relatively short. But we'll be back next week for episode 99.
99.
There's going to be some big announcements for episode 99 that will lead into episode 100. There's going to be some fun stuff we're going to talk about next week, right? It's going to be good on the show. So you won't see it on Twitter. We're going to talk about it live with you guys as we head into episode 100 of the XboxEra podcast. You are going to hear all of the latest things we've got planned. You're going to be hopefully blown away. And we're really looking forward to it. So we've got like less than 2 weeks to juggle lots of different things and show off some new stuff. And we're super, super excited. And you guys should be too. So big thank you to everybody watching, everybody that supports us. Big thank you to Albert for jumping on the show and hanging out with us for a couple of hours of his time. Big thank you to Jesse for doing all the things and rescuing it when Nick's internet crapped out.
So much stuff broke today, though.
so much
stuff broke. Like,
we'll get over
what the
it.
hell was going on?
Who knows? But for now, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.